Because like I said, Errol Spence fighting Fundora fighting Errol Spence with 2 belts or 1 belt because Fundora decides to get stripped. He still could fucking fight Errol Spence, and Errol Spence still got the fucking opportunity to fight Crawford if he gets the WBC belt from Fundora. I'm here to change your mind, here for you to read between the lines. So let's read between the lines, because this lines, come on, man. Come on, man. Now, as reported, Michael Benson, and it's reported, word on the curb, that Crawford is allowing the voluntary between Fundora and Errol Spence. And I'm saying to myself, why? And like I always say, why is a letter with a long tail. But I need to know, you had him. You had Fundora in a purse bid. You had the Turkey Al Sheik would have won the purse bid. It would have been on Riyadh season. You had him by the balls, dude. You could have had this fight next, but you said voluntary. And it doesn't make any sense because you had all the power. Let me explain. If Errol Spence, if Fundora said, well, I don't want to fight Crawford, what would Fundora had to do? What the fuck? Get it together. What the Fundora had to do? Fundora would have to fucking drop the belt. That's it. He drops the belt and it goes to you, Crawford. That's one. I'm telling you, read between the lines. And at the end of the day, he still have the WBC Fundora, and he'll still fight Errol Spence. So I'm looking at it like this. You could have got the belt. He could have relinquished the belt, get stripped, get the belt. That's one. Two, if he had won the purse bid, it could have been Turkey Al Sheik Riyadh season on that platform. You still won, right? And you could give Fundora whatever. That's between Turkey Al Sheik and whatever, right? So Crawford didn't have to do anything but accept the fight. So it sounded like Fundora wanted to fight Crawford, but Crawford is letting this situation happen. Now, look at Errol Spence. Errol Spence didn't do a fucking lick. Let me show you what I'm trying to say, that Errol Spence shouldn't have nothing to do with this going on right now. Right now, he doesn't. Yeah, Errol Spence is number 3 with the WBC. And that's not now. This was a couple years ago, right? At 154. This is when Jamel had all the belts, right? Oh, basically, right? And he was number 3. Why the fuck he was number 3? Now, let's move to now, recent. Errol Spence is number 1. Errol Spence is number 1 at the 154 division. What the fuck did he do? He didn't fight Majimov. He didn't do a lick of a damn thing. But I could tell you what he did. They saying that he can sell. That's what he can do. And he could sell out the AT&T Arena, Texas or whatever, and sell. So this is what happens. You skip the fucking line. So I'm not just doing this to Canelo. I'm doing this to Tank. I'm doing this to Errol Spence. Motherfuckers talk they face of boxing or they can sell. They skip the motherfucking line. So there's equal opportunity of discrimination with every fucking body. Just like a virus, just like weather, it doesn't matter. It does not discriminate. And bullshit do not discriminate either. If you sell, you're going to get yourself in a position. If you're a face, you're going to get yourself in a position. So I'm not just leaning this shit on Canelo. All right, let's go. So I'm showing you that Errol Spence didn't do a damn thing at 154. He didn't fight Majimov. Crawford did. Okay? But, you know, this face of boxing and he sells interrupts the fucking pattern to fucking what's supposed to happen. So because you're saying that Fundora and Errol Spence sells, oh, so you're trying to tell me Crawford is so interested of them selling that he's going to let this situation happen? That's what you're telling me? Because he sells? Listen, like I said, I'm going to give you an example. Now, Lomachenko, he don't give a fuck if everybody say that he ducked Tank Davis. He don't give a fuck. But I've been saying in my videos that Dennis Bernacek and Lomachenko is not going to fight each other. And it makes sense to say, well, I'm not in the moment. I'm not in the moment. I don't feel like fighting Tank Davis. Now, regardless if Lomachenko went to the table and he didn't like what he saw with the money, he did not say that. He didn't come out and say that. He didn't say anything about, well, I didn't like their offer. That's just an opinion, right? But he did say, I'm not in the moment. But then when he would see Shakur, he's talking about, Shakur, let's fight right now. Let's fight right now. Let's fight right now. This is reading between the motherfucking lines. So, regardless if it was about the money with PBC and all this shit and he didn't like it, he didn't bring it up. He didn't come to his defense of talking about, I'm not a duck. I did this because of the fucking money. I didn't do this because of that. No, he said he wasn't in a moment to fight Tank Davis. That's one. Okay. And then he didn't bring up the money. And then third, he wants to fight Shakur in the fucking audience. We could do it now. We could do it now. So it's not what they're saying, it's what they're not saying. And you have to learn how to read between the lines. So if you want to call Lomachenko a duck, hey, power to you, and I got no problem with that. It is what it is. But the same thing that Crawford's putting his motherfucking self in a position for these motherfuckers out here to say he's a duck. And I'm starting to feel like, well, why you ain't fighting this man? I'm telling you, you're a win-win situation. If Fundora decides he don't want to fight you, it could go to purse bid. He could relinquish his belt. You could get the belt. And at the end of the day, whether if Fundora has the belt or not, he still have the WBC belt and he can still fight fucking Errol Spence. Read between the fucking lines. He can still. So, this is all have to do about what Crawford wants. And like I said, Loma and Dennis Bernacek, they can stay up here and not fight each other and say, Shakur and Tank Davis, this is what I thought Loma was trying to do, and Dennis Bernacek. I know this is what I thought. This is what that's coming to my mind. Let's sit back and let these two fight, and then we both on top, Lomachenko and my other native right here, Dennis Bernacek, we have the chance, 2 chances up top. My Ukrainian brother, let's give each of the other a chance to fight whoever wins that fight with Shakur and Tank. But as we know, there's no fucking Tank and ain't no motherfucking Shakur. So everybody, Shakur has a hand injury, he's out, and we all know that Lomo, he's not in the moment. Okay? So that's, everybody's waiting on everybody. Everybody's waiting on everybody. So at the end of the day, Loma decides, I don't give a fuck if I look like a duck. But at the end of the day, I'm not fighting Dennis Bernacek. Me and my fucking Ukrainian brother, we're going to wait on top and we're going to see who's the winner there. And then if Dennis Bernacek have to fight the winner of Tank or Shakur, this is what I'm thinking. Fine. If he loses, then it's my turn to fight the winner of Dennis, fight the winner of Shakur or Tank, whoever wins that. Right? But at the end of the day, if Dennis beat the winner of Tank and Shakur, well then Dennis and Loma will have to fight. That's just the bottom line. But we're not going to put ourselves where everybody say, oh, Dennis and fucking Loma got to fight, because Loma and Dennis ain't going to fight like that. So they put themselves in a position where we're going to see who the winner at the bottom over here with Tank and Shakur. And once we know that, then we both got a chance not to fight each other by fighting this man right here. Simple work. Simple work. So now I'm saying to myself, damn. And I'm going to put this in here for you to understand, because people saying about, oh, well, what Crawford going to do? Well, Tszyu and I think they're going to fight in Saturday, this next Saturday or something like that. I'm hearing now that Crawford could fight the winner. Let me explain something what's going on with Tszyu, because I'm listening to what Tszyu saying, and I'm not liking what he's saying. Let's go.
Errol Spence, Fundora, Errol Spence, there's plenty of names.
You're naming a lot of PBC guys. They said, it was publicized, Turkey Al-Sheikh clapped at you or whatever, but it's you, Gervonta Davis, and Canelo. And Gervonta, he said something interesting. He's like, guys like me and Canelo, we kind of don't have to kiss the ring because we can sell. Gervonta sells here, Canelo sells here, and in Mexico you sell in Australia. Is there truth to that a little bit too? Or?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, there is. We don't have to, again, sell our soul, as they say, for money.
Quite a way to put it.
And fighting in Saudi Arabia, in a way, takes you away from your fans. To develop a base of boxing fans, they need to be there to see it, and they're hooked forever.
Yeah.
That's Could be a problem.
Yeah, look, I'd love to fight Saudi Arabia. I think it's an emerging country, first of all. But for me, as a young kid and as a boxing lover, America's where it's at. And I grew up watching big fights, and for me, it was always a dream of mine to be fighting here, to be fighting out of here, and to be experiencing it all. And that for me is number one.
As you can see, I don't trust Tszyu. I don't trust Errol Spence. I don't trust none of this shit. To me, Fundora bluff Crawford. He put that bluff on Crawford. And I'm going to explain something, because Crawford is like, listen, I'm 37 years old. The Tower Inferno is a fucking handful. And I said this in my videos before. When you fight Fundora, he's awkward. He's a southpaw. Yes, I hate the way he fights. I love how his sister fight Gabriel, but I can't stand how he fights sometimes, because he just smothers his fucking punches. And he has the longest reach, and he's up in the middle of there fighting, and he's acceptable of getting his ass knocked down like he did with Ruben and having a hard fight with Tszyu. But awkward shit happens. And I'm thinking that Crawford is strategically could look like a duck, and people could call it a duck, and Crawford don't have to explain that what he's doing. He would just take that duck. He would just take that duck and say, well, whatever you think, motherfucker. Because remember, Fundora had a fucking broken nose, right? And guess what? He said his nose wasn't really broken in an interview. As we recall, Fundora said that to waste fucking time. PBC is a fucking time waster. Time fucking waster. So, hey, Fundora duck Crawford, and Crawford duck Fundora. Whatever the fuck how you want to see it. But at this point, let's listen to Tszyu. And I'm going to explain something about fucking Tszyu. Tszyu said, not bending the knee, not kissing the ring to Turkey Al-Sheikh. And as you can see, read between the fucking lines. He named all these people. Ruben, Errol Spence, Charlo. He named all these PBC fighters. Right? So let's say he fights Bakaram, he beats Bakaram, and he got the belt. Here is another fucking problem. Bro, why did you bring fucking Errol Spence in this situation? Like I said, I can say why as much as I can. But like I said, if it's a strategic way, people ain't gonna see that shit as a strategic way. Get it together, nigga. Strategic way. They're not gonna see it that way. They're gonna see it, damn, nigga. One, you had a chance for Fundora to drop the belt, get stripped, relinquish the belt. You didn't let that happen. And get the belt right away. And you have two belts, right? The WBA and the WBO. And guess what? Regardless, Fundora will have to fight Errol Spence anyway. Okay? But you ain't let that happen. So to me, reading between the lines, you want more time. You don't want to fight Fundora right now. But you want Errol Spence and the voluntary for Fundora, shit's not sounding right, man. Shit's not sounding correct. But sometimes things that don't sound correct could be strategic. I'm not making excuses for Crawford, because I'm showing you all the proof right here. No one don't fucking like me. I don't like no fucking body, so I don't give a fuck. I'm saying what I want to say. I am a Terrence Crawford fan. Now, whether he's doing this like Loma's doing this strategically and sitting back, but at the end of the day, when you have to deal with PBC fighters, there's a lot of fuckery going on. A lot. And they never can get it fucking right. Every fucking minute, well, I don't know if Fundora's going to fight Errol Spence. One minute he's not fighting Errol Spence. One minute he is fighting Errol Spence. Now he's going to fight Errol Spence because Crawford's allowing the voluntary. Oh my God. Bro, you had this motherfucker by the balls. You could have took it to Purseman. And now we know that if it went that way, Fundora would have fought Crawford. Because Fundora probably, now we got the answers read between the lines. Fundora said, I'll fight Crawford. Now he's saying it. Remember, he ducked Crawford with the lie with the nose, right? But this is the truth right here. Because if Fundora is saying, yes, I'll fight you, let's go to Purseman, and I'll do it. And then Crawford's like, yeah, this nigga really want to fight me. All right, you know what? I'll let you fight. But why would you do that? Because if he really want to fight you, and Crawford's like, you really want to fight me? All right, let's get it on. Let's call each other bluff. Let's see what's up. Because at the end of the day, you would have got the WBO belt because he had to relinquish it. So you still have to get that belt. He still would have got stripped. It would have went to you, right? I'm assuming, right? And still, Sebastian Fundora could go on his fucking merry way and fight Errol Spence, just like how Errol Spence came in there, cock blocked, and say that we're supposed to be fighting. So now we know there's something going on with Fundora and what he wants. Now, I keep saying in my videos, when Fundora wakes up and he snaps the fuck out of it, and this is what I think Crawford's trying to figure out. Because if Crawford don't know where Fundora's young, okay, and I always say this, I love to watch Fundora's sister, Gabriel, fight. Gabriel Fundora, I love watching her because she knows her range. She knows her reach. And I said, once Sebastian Fundora, it clicks in his head to learn how to use his jab and his back foot, he is going to be the creator of range, and because he has the reach. He's going to be the one that creates it. The shorter one is going to have to fucking infiltrate it and close the ring off and try to get up under those. Once he snaps out of it, and Crawford's like, you know what? You ain't snapping out of it on my time. Nah, you ain't snapping out. I need to see you fight one more time to see what's going on. Because like I said, I watched Gabriel. She got a good inside, but she has a really good outside game fight. And I like watching her more than I like Fundora. But once this man snap out of it, and I'm banking that Crawford's like, you know what, let me sit back, let that happen. But now, you put yourself in a position. Who are you going to fight? And people say, oh, he can fight the winner of Tszyu and this other guy for the IBF belt. But you see how Tszyu is. I just showed you a clip of Tszyu, didn't I? And that's still another stalling tactic. So you know this might be a stalling tactic with him, but you had Fundora. You had him. So all I'm saying, if you had him and you ain't pushed to the limit, and Fundora's like, oh, I'll go along with the limit. Let's go. I want to fight. But you letting him say, you know what, let this fight happen. Maybe in a contract, it says, we don't know what's going on in the background. That's why I said you put yourself in a position where people are going to say you ducked Fundora. But it's fucking okay because Fundora fucking ducked you. It is what it is. Everybody's moving strategically. Lomo, Dennis Bernacek moving strategically. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. And once we see who wins, we both going to have a chance to fight the winner of Shakur or Tank Davis. That's what probably was trying to happen, right? Shakur got a hand injury. Everybody's on pause right now. Everybody's standing still. We don't know who's going to fight everybody. But Crawford right now, back to staying busy. Back to staying. So look at my last video. Who you going to stay busy with? Who's barking the most? I'm just saying, who you going to stay busy with? And when it comes to Tszyu and listen, really, I don't know what's going on with Tszyu, but like I said, the PBC is some shit, and you're allowing PBC to do some shit unless it's in a contract to say you're going to get the winner of Tszyu and Bakaram. If I could get that winner in a contract, in a written contract, behind the scenes, then I can understand why you made this move. Now I can understand you made this move. But if in the future, Errol Spence get his ass whipped trying to give him a rematch at 154, I'm going to give him the opportunity to fight me back at 150. Well, guess what? It goes all back to Fundora. Because if Fundora whipped this man ass, he don't like tune-ups. He's like, fuck it, let's go right into it. And to me, this is my opinion. It doesn't mean it's fucking real. He's looking to get another check and might retire. Because Fundora, when you fight this motherfucker, accidents happen. And like I always say, Fundora is 6'6" with an 81 reach or 80 reach. His elbow, if you're 5'8", his elbow's reaching the tip of your fucking your dome. Okay? And when you fight Fundora, he's awkward. And plus, mistakes happens. Mistakes happens a lot. So we have to be prepared for mistakes. And I think that's another reason why he's not fighting Fundora Crawford. Because if you get any injuries, which a lot of people get injuries, headbutts, because the way Fundora fights inside, elbows, forearms, elbows, cuts, He's like, you know what? Let's just leave that for Errol Spence. Let's see how awkward this situation is, and let me step back, let that happen, and because dog, I'm gonna tell you right now, either way, you could have got that belt. The first thing you could have got was that belt relinquished because it went to purse bid, and if Fundora didn't want the fight, he would have gone and say, you know what? I want to fight Errol Spence. But you allowed for this fight to happen. Now, I don't care about this duck shit back and forth, whatever, but I know one thing. Crawford always showed me that he doesn't back down for a fight. So, do I call him a duck all of a sudden? No, you loosey-goosey with the duck. I ain't going to call him a duck right away. I feel something strategic is going on here, and Crawford's seeing the big picture. But at the end of the day, if Fundora beats Spence, guess what? You still got to see Fundora. And if Tszyu versus Bakaram and Tszyu wins, I still see this shit as an in-house fight. And I see that Fundora and probably Tszyu will get the fight, right? After Fundora fights his voluntary, he'll get the fight with Tszyu, and you're still stalling and waiting, Crawford. You're still stalling and waiting for a fight, and they aging you out. September, you'll be fucking 38. So please, if people want to call Crawford a duck, I ain't got no problem with that. Because like I said, all you had to do was call the bluff, take that shit all the way purse bid, and it's 10-day extension, and that's that. All you got to do is call Fundora bluff. But it seems like Fundora wants to fight you. This is kind of proof to me that Fundora wanted to fight Crawford. Because if he's going all the way down the line to a purse bid, why did you watch the actions of Fundora? Why are you letting this voluntary fight happen with Fundora and Errol Spence, where you could have just we could have figured out what Fundora really wants by his actions. Not you infiltrating Fundora's actions by saying, well, you know, I'm going to let you fight Errol Spence and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that to me, that makes sense. Because if I was Crawford and I had to fight Fundora and it went for a 10-day extension, I'd say, let's see if Fundora really wants this fight. Yeah, let me see if you really want this fight. And by the time he's fucking and squeezing time and all the juice out of time and wasting your time, and it went to the last moment, he said, you know what? I'm just going to drop the belt. I'm going to fight Errol Spence. Instead of you, Crawford, saying, nah, I'm going to let you do this. And you can hold the belt. Nigga, I've been like, let's see. So to me, it sounds like Fundora was going all the way with this shit. Fundora was going all the way with this shit, my dude. Because if he wasn't, that belt would have been gone. And Crawford would have had 2 belts. And Fundora could go along with his fucking fight with Errol Spence, and Tszyu and Bakaram could fight next Saturday or whatever. And you got something. You're a unified champ. Hey, you got an email belt. A belt email to you or whatever, and it doesn't matter because Tank and Boots and all these motherfuckers got email belts or whatever. But you got the belt, he got stripped, and you would have had the WBA and the WBO if I'm correct, and he would have only had the WBC. And Errol Smith still got his chance to fight fucking Fundora for a belt still, and still have the opportunity to fight Crawford. Read between the lines, my nigga. Read between the lines, yo. So if there's channels calling it a duck, I ain't complaining about the shit. But like I said with Loma and Dennis Bernacek, there's a lot of strategic shit going on, and they're not fighting each other. The 2 Ukrainians are not fighting each other. They'd rather sit back and watch that whole situation with Tank and Shakur, which didn't happen. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen. And like I always say, I'm going to do a video about Tank, but right now I'm not really into that right now. I really don't want to get my mind into that right now. So I'm just doing this video of the latest news and how dotish this shit sounds. Listen, I'm not here to change your mind. Never that, man. You keep your opinions. My opinions, I stay in my lane. Only got opinions. That's it. I'm just waiting to see if somebody is aligned with my opinion. And then you're like, you know what? I'll rock with him. I'll sub. Whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm never here to change your mind. I'm just giving you lines to read between. That's it. Right? Open your mind and read lines in between. Now go to the next motherfucking channel and get some more information. And then you go to this channel and you get more information. I stay in my fucking lane. So I'm not here to change your mind, here for you to read between the lines. It's not what they say. It's also what they're not saying. So if Crawford is doing this to get a contract, well, just to get something on paper to say I got the winner of Tszyu and Bakaram, definitely. If I let this fight happen with Errol Spence and Fundora, hey, you could call the man a duck, but if he and he don't have to explain he don't explain to us what's going on behind the scenes. But that's the only way I'll let this situation happen. I'm sorry, this is the only way I'll let this situation happen if it's on a contract saying that I'm going to fight the winner. Because these undisputed champions, like I said, champions are not mandatories. But unifications over Trump mandatories. But there's no mandatory situation for these champions to fight. And they can stall each other out all day, all they want. And all I was saying, Crawford, don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to get stalled out. That's it. But I can understand if it's something in the contract saying with the PBC that I got the winner Tszyu and Bakaram. Because like I said, Errol Spence fighting Fundora fighting Errol Spence with 2 belts or 1 belt because Fundora decides to get stripped. He still could fucking fight Errol Spence, and Errol Spence still got the fucking opportunity to fight Crawford if he gets the WBC belt from Fundora. So in my mind, something ain't right, and it looks like that Fundora wanted to fight Crawford, and Crawford backed out that situation. Maybe in a strategic fight, maybe because of something signing in the background that we don't know, and it's not going to be for us to understand. But like I said, like Lomo, a lot of situations, a duck is a duck. It is what it is. But also in the background, there's a lot of strategic things. And the only reason why I should say you doing this is because you say, hey, Errol Spence, Fundora, if I let you do this, I want something written down that it says that I got the winner of Tszyu versus Bakaram, the winner of those, and I am next to fight you. If not, and you're just doing this, maybe you're doing this to say, let me just sit back and watch Fundora, because Fundora's going to snap out of it. Like I said, this man, his sister fight better than him, but this man, he might snap out of it. When competition gets higher, you start to change shit up. Okay, and he's not too far from always putting a distance in, closing the distance and fighting all up in your ass to this point where he's like, you know what? I'm fighting a champion. I ain't fucking this up. I'm going to stay on plan, and I'm going to fight this dude in a rangy way. And I think maybe Crawford's like, you know what? Let me just check out one more time what type of time Fundora's on when he's fighting Errol Spence. Because he knows when he fights me, he's going to be very careful. And being careful might be being more rangy and being on the back foot. Not here to change your mind, here if you read between the lines. It's not what they say. It's not what they... Okay, I'm done. 1.